Welcome, everybody. This is the first edition in a long time of CTC Live. And today we are all about Blackboard. We know we are just starting the semester, and the students are kind of like trying to find and feel their way around Blackboard and its applications, its usage, and how does it apply to me in my class experience. So we're here to answer all your questions. So this is going to be a little interactive, but primarily Dr. Angela Reese will be presenting all about Blackboard. But if you have questions, feel free to type them in the chat or put them on Facebook, and we will get to your questions just as soon as we possibly can when there's a break in the action, so to speak. So without further ado, let me turn it over to Dr. Angela Reese. She is a professor in our Business Administration Department, and she is what I affectionately call our Blackboard guru. Welcome, Dr. Reese.
Thank you so much. And welcome, Eagles. I am so excited to be here today to interact with those of you who are live. Please make sure to ask any questions. There is no bad question. Every question is a great question. We want to make sure that you are set up and ready for success. Also, a welcome to anybody that is going to be watching this in the future, as we know that not everyone is able to join us live. And we want to make sure that you are all successful in all of your endeavors at CTC. And one of the most important things that you really need to be successful in as you begin your journey toward either starting your classes in your first week and as you move forward is understanding how Blackboard works. So first off, if you're thinking, I don't even know what that is, or I've heard of it, but I'm not sure how to get in, but people keep telling me I need to. Blackboard is our virtual classroom. And almost every single course that we have at Central Texas College has some form of component that is inside of Blackboard. So Blackboard, again, is just our virtual classroom. I'm going to start by sharing my screen. And I am going to go through from the very beginning everything that you need to do in order to access Blackboard, how to log in, and then once we are in there, the important areas and elements of Blackboard. So as that is coming forward, let's see, it looks like I'm sharing my screen now, and I will get over to our homepage. So this is the CTC homepage. And if you are not familiar, you go to ctcd as in district.edu. From here, there's all types of wonderful things to explore and a variety of ways to get to Blackboard. One of the easiest is just to go over to our student tools. And then once the student tools pop up, you will see that Blackboard is listed as one of them. Again, there are multiple ways to get there. And as soon as we click on it, it is going to take us to the Blackboard login screen. Now, this page right here is separate from our web page. So if you were ever to go to the web page and let's just say it was down momentarily, you could still access Blackboard. So once you get here, you can either just memorize how to get here or you can actually save it and bookmark it, but it is ctc.blackboard.com. Again, that's ctc.blackboard.com. Once you are here, you are going to enter in your username and then also your password. So your username is going to be your student ID. So if you are not sure what your student ID is, you will be able to look it up under this link right here, Blackboard username lookup. Once you click on that, it will take you to this screen, which you will enter your first, last name, date of birth, and prove that you are not a robot, and you will get your login, which again is your CTC ID. So you will enter that under username, and then under password, you will enter your birth date, month, day, year, meaning all in the 2-digit format. So if today is your date of birth, it would be, and this is August 30th of 23, so it would be 083023. And then once you have that information entered in, you are set for success, and it will take you to your Blackboard login screen, and it will actually take you to this page here. There are a lot of things that we are going to go in just from this homepage, and then we are going to dive into your courses as well. So for those of you who are brand new, I want to make sure that you are comfortable. Those of you who have already gotten this far, give me just a few more minutes and we will hop into courses soon if you're having issues inside of your courses. I just want to take a moment to explain what each of these areas are for. So starting at the top, we have our institution page. This page is for information for you, for quick links in order to go to a variety of different resources that are here to support you, whether they are general information about the college and also our webpage, our distance ed webpage, Blackboard support. So if you're having problems or need to email support, that is all right there. Student resources. So if you are interested in books or if you have questions about scholastic honesty, or want to do an evaluation, want to visit the library, so many different things for you. Excuse me, that are here as resources to include the student handbook. And also, if you didn't know this, all of our students, once you have your CTC Eagle Mail on that first day of class, you will also have access to download Office 365 for free. So you're able to put that, I believe, on up to 5 different devices, but it is something that you can get for free once you have your college email address. So something exciting you might not realize you even had. So that is the institution page. From there, the next one down, I am Calvin Hobbs. He is my fictitious student that we have in the business department. So since I am a business instructor, we will, of course, be looking at all things business class related today, but don't worry, it's applicable for all of your classes in Blackboard. So this is just information about Calvin. You can see here that he hasn't added anything or set up any of his information just yet. So it will look just like yours will if you have not done that. Next one down is our activity stream. This activity stream just kind of gives you a good idea of all of the classes that you are in, anything new that has happened. So you can see that recent things, so within the last few days, there have been a few new announcements in the classes that Calvin is enrolled in. Then today you will see that Calvin has access to a new course. And then also there was an announcement in his business class about new recordings. So this is just a good overview of what is happening in your classes. You're able to select any one of these to go to that announcement to see more, or you can go through your classes as well. But just a quick overview to let you know what's happened recently. The next thing on our list are going to be all of the courses in which Calvin is enrolled. So if you are brand new, all that you will have are your current courses. You're not going to have any prior courses that are showing there to the left or any upcoming courses to the right. If we click on current courses, you can see that Calvin is able to go back and look at old courses that may still be available for him if he had questions that he wanted to check some things out, or maybe access, let's say, it's the first part of the fall currently. So if Calvin thought, oh, I never looked to see what my final grade was for summer, he would be able to go back to, let's say, summer 2. And the one course that he took, he would be able to go in and go to see what his grade is, or even contact his instructor that way. So let's get back to our current courses. And I'm just going to that middle area there and selecting current courses, waiting just a moment, and it is going to show the classes in which Calvin has for the fall of 2023. You can see Calvin is enrolled in 5 classes, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. So if you only have one class, you will just have this top area here. If you have extra, they will be listed. One thing that you need to be aware of, if you haven't enrolled in any classes yet, you will not be able to have access to Blackboard. That's one thing that's really important to note. Those of you who are maybe watching this and thinking, oh gosh, well, she went through all these steps, but I can't even get that far. It won't let me get in. So if you are brand new, it will not let you log into Blackboard until 3 days prior to your first course. Again, that's 3 days prior to your first course. Once you are a student with us, you will be able to log in, but for upcoming classes, so you can see that all of these classes that Calvin is in are classes that started on August the 21st. I can see that right here. It tells me that this is a business principles course, that the start date is August 21st, and that the end date is December 8th. It also tells me the section number. So if you're confused on the start and end dates of your courses, you'll be able to see that there. Now, if Calvin's also enrolled in a September course, notice that he does not see that yet. So that will show up 3 days prior to that September course beginning. we have any questions so far?
Nothing in the chat yet.
Okay, perfect. All right, so this is the courses. We'll get back to that momentarily. Under calendar, you can see here that there's nothing due for today for Calvin, but he could go through and look to see what might be the upcoming due dates. He can also go through and look at his monthly view as well. Excuse me. Messages, the next one down. You can see here, these are all the courses in which Calvin has messages that he has not opened yet. So for his supervision course that was back in 2022, he never went and looked at any of the messages in that course. You can tell that because this big red circle right here with the number inside saying that he has 17 messages that he has not even looked at. For grades, you can, and again, this is an overview. So this is just a quick overview. We are still going to go into the courses and be able to look at that as well. Grades, this will show us for anything that Calvin has recently received a grade for. This would be posted here, and then he could go into the course to actually view more details about it. Further down, we have more areas. This is the assistance area. So this is where you can quickly go. Like if you need assistance in any of these areas, whether it's math tutoring, career services, tutoring in general. If you want to visit the PROW lab, which I'm going to tell you a little bit about this too and point this out. These are the CTC English professors. They are willing to review work that you have questions on for any of your classes. And within 48 hours, they will give you feedback on your writing and areas for improvement. So even if you're not in an English class, you will likely have to do some writing in almost every class that you have at the college. And so you want to make sure that what you're submitting is something that meets all the requirements. Maybe you have MLA requirements in one course and you have APA requirements for writing guidelines in another, and you're getting the two confused. This would be a great place for you to reach out to if you were to have any questions. All right, further down, we have overall tools that you have access to. So this is just something that you are able to go in and create your own goals, a portfolio for yourself, and just help to keep you on track for success as you move forward with the college. So now we're actually going to go into our courses. As you can see here, and I've already stated that Calvin is enrolled in 5 classes right now. I want to point out a few more things just in the naming convention of the courses. This is one thing that our distance education department has updated recently to assist you in making sure that another way that you're on track for success so that you know the type of course that you are in, and also whether you signed up for a lecture or for an online course. It's going to give you all of those great details there. So the very first thing that you will see in this business BUSI 1301 course, you will see OLL. That tells me that this is an online course and it has a specific start and end date. It also has specific due dates throughout the course. So that is OLL. You can see that Calvin is in 2 of those. The next one down is OSL. OSL is our self-paced with due dates that are required along the way with checkpoints, basically. So again, it's a self-paced course. However, it does have checkpoints along the way, or milestones, self-paced with milestones. I'll get more into that in just a moment. Down here, we have an SVL course. This is a synchronous virtual learning course. This course is an online course that is kind of like a lecture, meaning the lecture's online. So you would go to class, quote unquote, inside of Blackboard, and you would meet with your instructor inside of Blackboard through the class link for a specific time. So for example, this SVL course meets from 9 to 10:20 on Mondays and Wednesdays. So Calvin is able to go into class, click on the class link, and access class that way. If it were an in-person class, meaning on campus, it would say LEC right here. So Calvin doesn't have any in-person classes. He has all online plus one online course that actually has a meeting component to it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go inside of Calvin's OSL, which is the self-paced course that has milestones/checkpoints. Again, this one is a 16-week course. We know that because it has a start and an end date. It also has this TD section number. One little tip I'm going to give you, if you do need to reach out to your instructor and you're not going to do it through the course, let's just say you prefer to email and your instructor's okay with that as well. First off, make sure to use your CTC email account that you're going to get access to versus your Yahoo or your Gmail, because the instructor doesn't really know who you are if your username for or your email address is something that doesn't state who you are. So one really good thing to do when emailing your instructor is to include this information here. So for this course, you might say that you're in Business Principles TD005 that started on 8/21. That way your instructor knows exactly who you are, what course you're in. And while you might only be in one course, your instructor might have 8 courses running. And it's much easier for them to be able to find you if they know exactly what course you're in. So let's go ahead and dive into class. So this is, again, Calvin's second week of class in Business Principles. This course right here started on 8/21. And you will see here that the instructor that he has is actually me. So I can speak specifically to my course because in this course, I am very active with announcements. Some instructors love announcements like I do. Other instructors prefer to use a different means of communicating with students, such as messages. So for example, my supervisor messages the entire class almost daily, whereas I do announcements instead. So different instructors will communicate differently. So make sure to pay attention to the syllabus and how your instructor says they are going to communicate. So as you can see here, these are all of the announcements that Calvin has missed because he hasn't logged in a while. So if I were you, and you haven't logged in a few days, which I don't suggest, is to go through and just look to see what all you have missed from your instructor. Because as you can see here, I have provided a great deal of information and resources to include recorded lectures, welcomes, our schedule, maybe due dates that Calvin has missed, links to a variety of things to help for assignments, and the list goes on and on. So again, check out announcements when you first log in, anytime you log in. But if it is your very first time to ever take a course with us, the one thing that you're going to want to do to get started is you're going to want to go over on the left-hand side to start here. This is going to be the same in all of your classes. So you really only need to check it out one time unless you have a question about something in a way to do something or a resource that might be listed here. Or you might have a variety of questions about communicating your grade, or maybe you want to check out the Scholastic Honesty Statement again because you weren't sure, or maybe your instructor asked you to check it out. This is why you would go back to that. There's also a variety of links that are here to help you. So again, start here. I'm not going to read it to you, but this is just a great area to familiarize yourself with our courses at Central Texas College. So the next area here, this is pretty much going to be standard in all of your courses. So while each instructor or department might have their courses set up just a little bit differently, this top part is going to be very similar for you. So you're going to have start here, you're going to have Biosig, which I'm going to come back to, announcements, which I've already gone over, messages, a way to communicate with your instructor, and then also your instructor info. So let's go into messages. Again, I will come back to Biosig momentarily. So messages, if I wanted to, I could create a message. I'm not going to go in there though because Calvin is enrolled in a course with other students. But if I were to click on create message, it would pop up a way to create a new message. It would also show all of the students in the class as well as the instructor. The instructor's name is going to be in parentheses. Next to it, or next to their name in parentheses, is going to be the word SME, which means subject matter expert. And that's going to be in parentheses. That way you know you have the instructor that you are emailing. If you select everybody, it's going to go to everybody. And then if you have any messages, you are able to go in and look at them here under your inbox. And you can also go back and view what you have sent. So let's just say you think you sent a message, but you can't remember. So you could go back and you could actually click sent, and it would let you know those that have gone out. So Instructor Info, this is where you will find information about your instructor. So you will see here that this is one of my courses. You can find out my phone number, my office information, who my supervisor is, and the best form of communication with me. Not all of your instructors will have this listed here. It might be in the syllabus, it might be on their announcements. So it's just a really good idea when you first start your courses to just familiarize yourself with who your instructor is and how to get a hold of them. The next area is going to be fairly standard, but it might have a few different types of assignments listed here. On the left-hand side, you for sure will see syllabus page 1 and page 2. This is the meat and the potatoes of the class, folks. This is what you want to make sure that after you read Start Here if you're new, and know who your instructor is, you want to read the syllabus. This is basically the guidelines, the rules, everything you need for this course. So syllabus page 1 is very standardized with your course description and learning outcomes at the top for each of your courses, followed by your course materials. So this book for this course is free, so you're able to just click on the link and go to the book. If this were a class that had the ability to purchase the book, maybe it had an ebook available, that would be here, along with information about the book if you wanted to purchase it from the bookstore instead. We have a standardized extension policy that I'm not going to read to you, but just know that if you have some type of emergency, there are guidelines to follow with how our extensions work. And again, that is for each of our classes, it's standardized. Frequently asked questions may or may not be in this area in all of your courses. I like to have frequently asked questions so that students have answers to maybe some of their initial questions off the bat, in case maybe they're not sure about how something works. And these basically are here because of questions I have personally got in the past. So make sure to check out those frequently asked questions as well. Now on to syllabus page 2. This is the one that I suggest that you really pay attention to because there are so many important dates that are listed as well as guidelines for the course. When we first started, I mentioned to you that there are self-paced courses with milestones, that there are courses that are required deadlines, there are courses that are lecture, there are also SVL courses. This is where you can read more about that. So for example, this is a self-paced with milestone course. So under the delivery terms, it tells me that this is self-paced. However, there are certain dates within this course that I have set in order to make sure that you are not only successful, but that you do have to follow. So there's no more, if those of you who have heard about self-paced courses, basically start and an end date. Yes, that's still true. There's a start and the end date, but with milestones that are checkpoints in between. One other very important thing that is listed most likely in this area for all of your classes is going to be the statement that basically you have to be active in your course. Even if the first milestone is not until mid-September, you still have to, within the first week or two, depending on how long your course is, have to do a graded activity. In this course, I require my students to complete the course procedures quiz under lesson 1. In another course, it could be something different. So you need to understand what your instructor has laid out for you in every course. Just because you're active in one course, that does not make you active in another, even if all of your courses are with me. I teach enough different classes that you could have a full load only taking my classes. But if you are only active in this one, like Calvin, and he doesn't go back and look at any of his other classes, he may get dropped from all of the other courses for not doing this. So in this course, he has to do the course procedures quiz by September 6th, or he might be dropped at that time. Moving further down, now we have our schedule of assignments. So remember, this one's self-paced with milestones. So we have a checkpoint notated right here. So if this were not a self-paced course, these due dates would be due dates and they would be firm. But since this one is self-paced, these right here are suggestions to help you stay on track. However, once Calvin gets down to the 25th, this is checkpoint number 1 for this course. All of the assignments above have to be turned in or they are zeros. Again, make sure to pay attention to what this states. This is something that personally I might print out, which is something that when I take courses, I do. Even when I take continuing education courses that I have to keep up for various licenses, this is something that I like to do to make sure that I am on track for success. I do not want to mess up. So if you're in multiple classes, you might want to print this out versus just looking at it every day. I like to highlight and then I like to cross off with a pen. It's very satisfying for me. But if that doesn't work for you, you can find another way of doing that that helps keep you on track. Then note that there are other dates that are here that Calvin really should follow. But then by the time we get down to the 11th of, or excuse me, the 10th of November, here is another checkpoint. Everything from checkpoint 1 to checkpoint 2 is now due. And of course, through the end of the course. Further down, we have exam information. And again, this is pretty standardized in all of your courses. Then we have our course grade. This is very important because you want to see what all you are required to do and how much it's worth. So look right here for just a second. One thing that I like to point out, at least in my classes and other classes, point values are going to be different. But in this course, there are 500 points worth in exams. So if you are an excellent test taker and you're like, I never do written assignments, I'm good, I'm just going to take exams, I'm going to be great, I'm going to get an A. You're not even going to pass my class if you get a perfect score on all of the exams. And that's because we want you to not only be able to take exams, but also be able to have written discussions. In this class, it's an article report, and others, it could be a case study or a research paper to demonstrate your understanding of the topic and ability to discuss it. So that's the course grade that tells you what your points are worth and how you're doing. I'm going to scroll back up. Then we have our lessons, which I will go to in a moment. Below lessons, or let me rephrase this. In some classes, instead of lessons, it might say units, or it might say weekly activities. Each instructor or each department has this set up a little bit differently. So that this is where it's going to break down all of these assignments. Again, I'll come back to that momentarily. Below that, at least in my class, I have the article report, discussion boards, and exams. So these areas right here give you more insight, more instructions regarding specific areas. So in your other courses, you might have a live class link, or you might have a blog, or a vlog, or the research paper to where you can go in and get more instructions. So I'm just going to show you one of them, this article report. So you can see here, there's a submission link along with all of the instructions for the article report, as well as a sample article report and a rubric to show you how your grade is compiled. And then at the very bottom, helpful resources in order to allow you to be successful for that report. Again, this article report is for this class. In other classes, it could be different assignments that are here. The discussion board. I'm going to go into the discussion board. You can see here that there are a variety in this course of different discussions. Okay, as you scroll down, you will see several. I'm going to show you now how to go in and what happens when you click on, let's say I'm ready to do discussion board number 1. So it tells me that prior to getting started, I need to review the frequently asked questions on syllabus page 1 for the instructions. Then I need to develop a response to this question. I will tell you, even if it's not notated in your class, discussion boards time out, meaning that if you're in Blackboard and you're thinking, I'm just going to type up my response real quick, you could lose your response if you were doing it inside of Blackboard. We suggest highly that you open a Word document, that you answer your prompt inside of a Word document, that you proofread it, you spell check it, maybe you sit on it for a little while and come back and read it again to make sure that you have answered every part of the question. Then when you're ready to submit, you're going to open your Word document on inside it or on your computer. You're also going to go into the discussion board. Now you can see here that, well, shoot, I can't see all of the other people's discussions. Well, what am I supposed to do now? Well, in a lot of your courses, other people's information is going to be hidden from you until you've submitted your own. So for me, in my classes, I require students to create their own discussion before they're able to see anybody else's. So now that I'm here and I've got everything set up, I've got my Word document ready, I'm going to click Create Thread. And notice that it's still giving me the instructions, just so I have that there. It shows me my rubric. And then from there, I'm going to type the, let's say, discussion board 1. And then I'm going to go to my Word document. I'm going to highlight and copy and paste. And then I'm going to paste that information here. Note that there still are a variety of tools here. Notice that some are hidden. See that dot, dot, dot that I clicked on in the far right-hand corner? I want to point out that there is a spell check option. So if for whatever reason, maybe Word didn't get everything, you probably want to do a spell check here too, just to make sure you are good to go. And then from there, you're going to hit submit. Once you do, your submission is going to be able to be seen by anybody else that has posted theirs, and you will be able to see theirs and reply to theirs as well. So I'm going to cancel that and get out of the discussion board. I'm still going to come back to lessons in a moment, as well as the Biosig. Below that, we have just general tools that are available, and this should be available in most of your classes, even though not all of them are needed for this one. It's just a tool page that our wonderful distance education department has put together for us. Now, my grades. So I told you under syllabus page 1 that it's my suggestion to print that out so that you can see how you're doing when things are due. This is another way to do this and view it. And I suggest, personally, I would do both of them. But in this area here, we are able to go in and see all of the assignments that Calvin has not completed yet. If he had completed something, right here, there is a dash. So student introduction, far right-hand side, -50. So if Calvin had completed it and maybe gotten started but didn't finish, there would be a blue circle right here. This tells Calvin that that assignment is not complete if it is a blue circle. If it turns into a yellow circle with a white exclamation point inside of it, that tells you you have submitted everything you need for that assignment, and it's now ready for grading. So you don't have to email your instructor and say, hey, Dr. Reese, did you get my assignment? Because you can come here and you can see that it is submitted. So once your instructor grades it, that's going to turn into a numeric grade, or a letter grade in some classes that use letter grades instead of as numbers. So if Calvin gets full credit, which he should, because this is a student introduction and all he has to do is follow instructions, he'll get a 50 out of 50. And that will tell him he got full credit. If there was some feedback, which in my classes, I do have a rubric that you can click on and have a breakdown of your score, along with a conversation bubble that will be to the right that you can click on and see the feedback from your instructor. So if you're thinking, man, I don't know how to improve, I only got 10 points out of the 50, click on that feedback from your instructor and see what they have to say. I can tell you for a fact, a lot of my students don't look at that. I don't know if they don't know how, or if they don't have time, or maybe don't care. I hope they care. But when we click on that, that's how you're able to get feedback from your instructor for areas for growth. Even if you got a perfect score, some of your instructors are still going to give you feedback just for different viewpoints of thinking about things, or letting you know some things you did really great on. Or even, which I do this, if somebody has a really small error on formatting and it's their very first assignment, then I'm probably going to, if it's something real little, say, hey, no points off this time, but make sure to fix it for the future, or they're going to lose credit for that in the future. So check all of that out. In some courses, you're even able to, once this has been submitted, you can click on Chapter 1 quiz and you'll be able to see your quiz submission, along with what you got wrong and what the correct answers are. Again, that's not in every course, but in courses that allow it, you're able to click on that and see that feedback there. Scholastic honesty is now we're finished with this area, but just so you know, this is where you can view all of your grade feedback. Next, we have scholastic honesty, which will give you information about our policy at Central Texas College. We do use Safe Assign, which does check for cheating. So if you have heard about all of these really cool websites that you can go and get basically free papers, or you can chat GPT it and just type in the question and get an answer, We do check for safe assign issues. We do check our sources and make sure that if there is any type of potential issue, this is something that your professors will be looking into. So make sure to read over the Scholastic Honesty Statement and know that we do take this very seriously. We want to make sure that you not only get that piece of paper showing that you passed your courses and that you have your certificate or degree, but we want to make sure that you know the material. That's one of the main purposes for coming, right? Is to get the education. So do the work yourself, and you will be successful with the feedback and help of all of your instructors at the college. We really want to make sure that you are successful. You're also able to give an evaluation on any of your courses. So you're able to view completed ones as well as log in and complete one yourself. Any questions so far before I get into the lessons and the Biosig?
None in my chat. Anything on Facebook, Marcelli?
I'm sorry, Marcelli, I couldn't hear.
Nope.
Okay, thank you. All right, so moving into Biosig and Biosite. So Biosig ID. When you very first enroll with us, you need to, after you do start here, once you get into your first course, after you do start here, you're going to go to Biosig ID, and you're also going to read over this. This is a one-time only password that you're going to have to create and set for yourself. This is going to ensure that you are who you say you are. This is how we validate your identity. This is how we are going to make sure, again, that you are the person taking the course. So once you create it, I created mine 12 years ago. I am still using the exact same Biosig password to this day. I have to date, knock on wood, not had any issues with it. And every time I use it, I validate myself. It knows I am who I say I am. And now I can proceed with the class. But the very first time, again, your very first course, you're going to want to watch the video, watch the instructions, read over it, and then you'll create your Biosig ID by selecting the link in order to, let me scroll down so you can see that. The Biosig enrollment link here, and that is where you're going to go and create yours. I can't go through that with you because I have already done it. So it's just it's not going to allow me to do that. But it will take you through step-by-step what to do. And if you're kind of nervous about it, you can watch the video first. If you are a student that has any type of disability that will prohibit you from using Biosig, I encourage you to reach out to the Disability Support Office, and they will be able to help you with moving forward. We also have Biosite ID. So Biosig is your 4-digit password that you will use in every course. And I'm going to show you what that looks like momentarily to verify that you are who you say you are and moving forward. Then we also have Biosite. So this is a tool that is privacy minded, that protects your identity, but also protects and helps us as an institution of higher education to ensure, once again, you are who you say you are. So it does record what you are doing when you take your exam. However, it is a blurred vision, blurred content. So if I, the instructor, wanted to go in and see you in your test after the fact, basically it's a blurry room. You cannot tell who the person is. You would not be able to identify them on the street if you saw them. The only thing that you are able to tell is that there is a person sitting in front of the computer. You can tell colors, so you can see that I have blonde hair. So that is something that is available to tell as color, but you cannot see the person themselves. So if I'm sitting here with my blonde hair and in comes somebody behind me with red hair, it's going to show me that there are two different people in the room. Again, I can't tell who either one of the individuals are, but I can see the color blonde hair and I can see the color red hair. And now I know two people are in the room. And so now that there's potentially two people in the room, now we have a situation, because when you take your exams, you're not supposed to have extra people around you. If the person comes in and leaves and we can see that, such as sometimes my child just shows up, or other members of my family walk in and walk back out quickly, realizing that I'm in the middle of something, then that is something that we are able to see. So don't worry if you are somebody who only has a location in your home and you've got 5 siblings and there's grandkids and grandparents and mom and dad, everybody's here. And even though you told them to stay out, they come in anyway. We'll be able to see that they come in and leave. So don't worry, that is something that protects you and protects us. But again, we can't see you. We can see if you pick up a phone and you're not supposed to have any resources. We can see if you're turning your head and looking down. But again, it's all blurred. So make sure to pay attention to what is allowed. And on syllabus page 2, it will tell you what's allowed on your exams, whether you can use resources or not use resources. So now let's see what it looks like. I'm going to go into lessons, and Calvin hasn't verified his lesson yet, so he can't see any of the lessons. So Calvin has already created his Biosig ID 12 years ago. So let's click and see what happens. So once I click to verify, it is going to ask me to validate. And I just do it, my 3 lowercase l's and 1 capital L, and I'm going to validate. If you would like to use my password, you are welcome to, because you are going to do it differently than I'm doing it. Again, it is a biometric signature, so it's tracking how you have created your password and also how you are verifying your password. Now that I have verified my lesson, all of the lessons are popping up. You will see several instances within your courses with Biosig. So it could be under lessons, it could be for a report that you have to do. Again, each class will be a little bit different, but now I can see all of my lessons that correspond with syllabus page 2. So lesson number 1, I'm not going to go into all of them. I'm just going to go into this first one. But it is going to basically break down the entire lesson and give lesson introductions, learning objectives, all of my learning activities that are noted here, all of the assignments, again, that correspond with syllabus page 2, and then links to click on all of those individual assignments as well. Make sure that you do not click on your quizzes or your exams until you're actually ready. You can hit cancel if you accidentally click on it, don't worry, but just be very careful what you are clicking on when you are there. So with that, that is a quick, brief, well, not brief, 42-minute overview of Blackboard. So let me know what questions you might have, and we will get those answered. And if we don't have any, I just want to share with you just a few other helpful, just hints, tips in general. Note that this is my business principles course, Angela Reese's business principles course. So in other courses, things will look different to you. So note that, as I mentioned, the things on the left-hand side of the screen will be organized similarly. They might be called something different. Most certainly, the information that is listed on the syllabus will be different. So make sure to go in and realize and understand how each of your instructors runs their course. If you have questions, reach out. If you don't understand something, reach out to your instructor. We are here to support you and help you, even if it is not a content question, but a Blackboard question, like, I'm in the discussion board, but I can't figure out how to reply. Or I see the article report instructions, but I don't know how to submit. Any of those questions, do not let them go unanswered. Please reach out to us and let us know how we can help you along the way and throughout your journey. All right, well, it doesn't appear that we have any questions, so I do want to thank you for your time and thank you for being here with us. And again, please, anytime you need us, reach out. We are here to support you.
Right. Yeah, I don't see any questions, Mariceli. Anything in Facebook?
No, sir.
Christy, you have any questions you'd like to propose? You're free to use the mic or type in the chat if you have anything, because we don't want you to leave here the slightest confused. We want you to know what's going on. So anyway, well, in the interim, let me remind everyone that this presentation on Blackboard will be available on YouTube a little bit later this afternoon or later today, so probably first thing in the morning. So if you were unable to attend or if you need to review any of the information that Dr. Reese presented, then you'll have that ability to kind of stop and start as you go on YouTube. So any last words of wisdom, Dr. Reese?
Just make sure to ask questions, communicate. I just want you to know that we are here to support you throughout your entire educational journey. So as questions arise, just make sure to reach out.
Okay, there's one question here on the Blackboard thing. There was a thing down there about my grades, evaluation, and so forth. I don't know, did you touch thoroughly on that? Because the question came through, what exactly is the my grades part of it? Is that where students can see their grades or?
Yes. So the my grades was the portion that I was showing you and discussing where it corresponds to syllabus page 2. So it shows you every single assignment that is
Gotcha.
assigned for the course. And then the evaluation is to evaluate the course after the fact. So I apologize if I kind of ran that together. Evaluation is evaluating the course / instructor after you complete the course. So don't even worry about that until you are finished with the course.
Great. All right, that's perfect. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that for me. So
Yes, sir.
My little hiccup there. So, all right, I think we are okay on questions. There are no other questions, and you're welcome, Krista. We appreciate you tuning in today. So thank you for that. And no other questions. Again, this will be available on YouTube later. Dr. Reese, I can't thank you enough. You always come through and help us out with this because Blackboard is a key component for student success in every class. And so we want to make sure that they are able to navigate Blackboard and be successful. So thank you for that. So.
You're welcome.
All right, you guys take care. Thank you again, and look for this on YouTube if you need to review, and look for future episodes of CTC Live when we talk more about academic services, student services, campus events, whatever the case may be, or anything that will be beneficial to students. So thank you again. We appreciate your time, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.